welcome back to my channel and welcome to another reading vlog where I'm gonna be reading The Dragon Reborn. Okay, so The Dragon Reborn by Robert Jordan is the book 3 in the Wheel of Time series, and I have previously done reading vlogs for book 1 and book 2, and I'm gonna have them linked down below if you wanna see my thoughts about these books and also like the plot behind them so you can understand what happens in book 3. But I don't think I've said before, this is an epic fantasy series and we follow a bunch of different characters that are hard to remember names of, but anyway, this video is gonna be completely filled with spoilers and yeah, let's just move on to the reading footage. Okay, so I am on page 210 of The Dragon Reborn, which is about a third. And, well, this book is called The Dragon Reborn, but Rand has barely even been on it. I think it was in like 2 scenes, but honestly, I don't really mind that. So we start off with a prologue, and we see the Children of Light, and like the leader of the Children of Light. And the Children of Light are just basically supposed to fight Dark Friends and people who align with the Lord of the Dark. And, well, at first, they want to kill Rand, the Dragon Reborn. But then, like, the leader tells the guy that, you know what, maybe we shouldn't kill him. And they don't want to kill Rand because they want people to be afraid of Rand, and then they want to be the heroes by killing him when people are already afraid. And like he says, let me find that. Yeah, it's this one. Do you know how to unite people behind you, Child Caradan? The quickest way? No. Lose a lion, a rabid lion, in the streets. And when panic grips the people, once he has turned their bowels to water, calmly tell them you will deal with it. Then you kill it, and order them to hang the carcass up where everyone can see. Before they have time to think, you give another order, and it will be obeyed. So, yeah, they want like to be the heroes after people are already afraid. But then, that guy, the Child Caradan, who the leader was talking to, we find out that he is actually a Dark Friend, and he's working for the Lord of the Dark. And the Lord of the Dark wants Rand dead. So he has one of his leaders telling him not to kill Rand, and then he has another of his leaders telling him to kill Rand. So, yeah. Okay, so the next 100 pages we follow Perrin, who is with Moiraine, Lan, Rand, and Min. And they are like camping at a place with a bunch of other people, and they are attacked by Trollocs. And like after the attack is over and like the next morning, they find out that Rand is gone. And then they all start talking, and they realize that they have been having the same dreams, and they have been dreaming about a sword. And apparently that sword is called Calendor, and like I guess no one can grab it, get it from where it is, and it's in the, wait, let me find that. Heart of the Stone, in the fortress called the Stone of Tear. And the shining sword is Calendar, the sword that is not a sword, the sword that cannot be touched. So, yeah, and being actually wielded by the dragon is one of the signs that the true dragon is reborn. And so they think that Rand has also been dreaming about that sword, and that's where he went. And so they get on their way to find Rand, and they stop at a village. And on that village, the man who works or owns the inn, I don't really remember, he talks to Perrin to ask Moiraine to go help his brother, because he knows that Moiraine is an Aes Sedai. And when they get there, they see that that guy's brother is like in a cage, and he has yellow eyes, just like Perrin. And he started talking about wolves and acting like a wolf. And, well, we all know Perrin can talk to the wolves, and he can hear their thoughts. And, well, that guy is just basically wolf now. He has no human left in him. And even Moiraine says that, he's too gone, I can't do anything. He has no, humanity left. And Perrin is really afraid that will happen to him too, especially because he feels like his connection to the wolves gets stronger and stronger, and he feels like that pull to just be a wolf. And so, yeah, he's definitely afraid that will also happen to him and that he will lose his humanity. And that's pretty much where we are at this point with Perrin. And I actually really liked following Perrin. He had some chapters in the previous books, of course, but nothing this big. Just 100 pages of him, and I really liked following him. So much so that when we started following Egwene and Nynaeve and Elaine and Matt, I guess, even though Matt wasn't really in it, I was upset because I was really enjoying to follow Perrin. But I actually did end up enjoying following the girls and Matt as well. And so they were going to Tar Valon to heal Matt, because he had that curse that was binding him to the dagger, and he was gonna go crazy and die. And so they get to Tar Valon, and one of the Aes Sedai, the one that was bringing them to Tar Valon, she is talking to their leader. And the leader, tells the other Aes Sedai that since Matt was the one who sounded the Horn of Valir, no one else can use it. And the Horn of Valir is supposed to be used by Rand, the Dragon Reborn, in the last battle with the Dark One. But since Matt used it, he has kind of bound himself to the horn, and anyone else who uses it, it will just be a normal horn. You won't raise the dead heroes from the grave to go fight with them. So as long as Matt's alive, Rand cannot use the horn. And then that leader of the Aes Sedai talks to Egwene and Nynaeve, and she tells them that she wants them to basically be their spies, and she wants them to look out for any members of the Black Aja. And that's basically just some Aes Sedai that are working for the Dark One. And they were considered kind of a myth, but they have recently realized that, they're not a myth, they actually exist, and they are very dangerous. After that, the Aes Sedai actually do cure Matt from his curse, with the dagger, and they unbind him from the dagger, and he seems to be doing fine. And when he wakes up, there is a woman in his room, and that woman is Selene. And if you remember from my last reading vlog of book 2, I hate Selene so much. She's always talking. I think she only met Rand and Matt, and she was always telling Rand that he needs to want the glory and have the glory, and I'm just what the fuck does that even mean? And what does she want? And she can wield the one power because she used those stones that can only be used with the one power. So what the hell is she? Because she says that she's not Aes Sedai. But what else can she be? And so, yeah, she visits Matt, and she tells Matt that he cannot trust the Aes Sedai because they want to use him and they will lie to him. And then she leaves. And then the leader of the Aes Sedai goes to talk to Matt, and she does tell him what I think is the truth, but again, do I know? I don't. And she tells him about the horn and that the horn is bound to him and Brent cannot use it. And so Matt says that, if you need me to blow the horn for the final battle, I'll do it. I'll blow the horn. I thought that Brent had to use it for the last battle, but if Matt can use it, then I guess that's fine. He agrees to do it, but he still does not trust the Aes Sedai. And yeah, that's where I'm at, and I am really enjoying it. I think I have gotten used to this author's writing style, and I don't really mind it being so, I guess, slower than I'm used to. In book 1, it kind of bothered me how slow it was, and in book 2 I was fine with it, and in book 3 I am actually loving it. So, yeah, I'm really enjoying it so far, and I think I will update once I read 200 pages more. Okay, I am on page 423, and that's about two-thirds of the book. And since I last updated, Elaine and Egwin went through the test to become accepted, which is like the status, I guess, they go through before they become officially Aes Sedai. So they're like novices, I think it's novices, and then accepted, and then Aes Sedai. And Nynaeve was already an accepted. She went through that test in book 2. And we did see that test, but I mean, maybe I'm misremembering, but I think we saw more with Egwin. And basically, there are 3 parts of that test, and one is for what was, another for what is, and another for what will be. And basically, she enters like some kind of place, and she's presented with fake scenarios and like what her life could be, I guess, if she wasn't Aes Sedai. And the door to come out of those scenarios only appears once, and she has to cross that door, because if she doesn't, she'll be stuck in there forever. So yeah, that's fun. And it's kind of heartbreaking, and all of her scenarios included Rand, and like Rand asking for her help, and she could never help him because she had to get back to her real world. So yeah, that was very sad. But yeah, she did get through it, and she is now an accepted, and Elaine also is an accepted, but we did not see her test. And so after that, Nynaeve, Egwin, and Elaine are together, and a girl approaches them, and she tells them that some things were found from the 13 women of the Black Aja that escaped, and she tells them where those things are, and so they go there. And they find a bunch of clues, and they all point to Tear. And Tear is the place where that sword, Calendar, is. But we later find out that that girl wasn't who she said she was. Because the name she gave, which I don't remember, is from a girl who had been, like, expelled or whatever from Tar Valon. So, yeah, that wasn't her, and that was probably some kind of trick. But either way, Egwin is supposed to be a dreamer, or they think that she might be a dreamer. And that means that she can enter the dream world in ways that other people can't. And she can like interact with it more. And so she enters the dream world, and she sees Calendar. And there's also a woman there who tells her a bunch of things, and I was confused. But yeah, anyway, they decide that they are going to go to Tear. But Elaine is a princess, and she's the princess from Camelin. And the first time they left Tar Valon, Elaine's mother, the queen, was not happy. So this time she is going to want someone to deliver her a letter saying that she is safe, she's just going on a mission. She didn't just disappear. And they think that someone who could deliver the letter is Matt, because he doesn't want to be in Tar Valon anyway. So they go talk to Matt, and they tell him that they're going to help him escape, which they do, and that he's supposed to deliver the letter. And so Elaine gives Matt the letter, and they all go their separate ways. Matt goes to Camelin, and the girls go towards Tear. And while Matt is like trying to leave, he meets up with Thom, which is the Gleeman that appeared in book 1 and 2. And before that actually happens, someone tries to kill him. And I was just like, okay, that was random. And also he's very lucky. Like, he was always lucky, but now he's way more lucky. Like, he's ridiculously lucky. And I don't know what that's about. But anyway, he's lucky. And then he meets up with Thom, and then they go on their way to Camelin. Also, Perrin, he can also kind of enter the dream world, but in a different way. He has like the dreams with the wolves, but he also had a dream about a woman whose name was Lanfear, and he said that that was the woman who urged him to glory. So that sounds a hell of a lot like Celine. Celine was the person who urged him to glory. And I think in my last update I said that Celine talked to Matt and Rand. But maybe it was to Perrin and Rand. And I guess maybe that's where he knew her from. But that was Celine. And this was Lanfear. And I knew that I had read that name before, and so I went to look in book 2. And at the end of book 2, there was a woman who appeared saying that the dragon belongs to her, he's hers, whatever, and that woman's name was Lanfear. So are they the same person? Celine and Lanfear? I don't know, but either way, he saw Lanfear in that dream, and she was talking to the Dark One and saying that basically she works for him. So yeah, that's also fun. And finally, the last thing I read so far was that the girls, Nynaeve, Egwene, and Elaine, ran into some women who were the maidens of the spear, and they talked about a prophecy of he who comes with the dawn. And basically, he who comes with the dawn is the dragon reborn. And the dragon reborn is the child of one of those maidens. But when they have children, they are given to someone else, to be raised by someone else. And we know that Rand is actually not the son of who, he thought he was. So, yeah, that's the theory. He is the son of a maiden. And, yeah, that's where I'm at. And like I said in the last update, I'm actually finding the pacing, I'm loving the pacing. And I feel like there's a lot of things happening all the time. And when I get to the middle of these books, there's always a bunch of things happening, and I never know which ones are gonna be important or not. And also there are a bunch of characters appearing, and I never know which ones are gonna be relevant in the future. And sometimes I don't memorize their names, and then they appear again, and I'm like, who exactly are you? So, yeah. That's a lot like Game of Thrones. If you watch Game of Thrones, I haven't read the books, but I imagine it's the same thing in the books. But yeah, if I watched the show and there were 3,000 million characters and I knew the name of 10. So every time someone else was mentioned, I was like, who exactly are you? I know I've heard about you before, but who exactly are you? And yeah, that's exactly what happens in this book, or in these books. But yeah, either way, I'm really enjoying it, and I will update again once I finish it. Okay, so this has nothing to do with the goal of this vlog, but I bought 3 phone cases, Marvel themed, and one of them, just arrived yesterday, and I just want to show it. So, here it is. It's Iron Man, my favorite being from Marvel. And yeah, he's also there. And he's also here. So, am I a little obsessed? Maybe. Okay, I have finished The Dragon Reborn, and wow. Okay, so since my last update, Perrin, Lan, Moiraine, Loyal, and Zareen, and I forgot to mention Zareen because I didn't really know if she was gonna be relevant, but she was, so yeah. They met a girl before they got on the ship to go to Tear. And her name was Zareen, or is Zareen. And yeah, they get to Tear finally. And they are attacked by some creatures who are loyal to the Dark One. And those creatures are the Grey Men, who are basically people who are not really alive, but not really dead. They're kind of soulless. Something like that. And there was also a Grey Man who tried to attack the girls at Tar Valon. And I'm wondering if the person who tried to kill Matt was also a Grey Man, because someone did try to kill him, and I guess that would kind of make sense. Maybe? Anyway, they are attacked. So after that, Matt and Tom finally get to Camelin, and Matt goes to the palace to deliver the letter. But the guards don't want to let him get inside, so he basically just, like, climbs the wall to get there, and he overhears some people talking about murdering Elaine. And yeah, he's worried because, well, mostly about the other two, because Nineve and Egwene have been, like, he's known them since forever, but also Elaine, like, he's worried about the three of them. And he does deliver the letter, and he learns that they are going to Tear. And afterwards, he's talking to Tom, and he's like, so, you told her mother that someone is trying to kill her, right? And let me find that. He was really funny. You did tell her, didn't you? You did tell her. And Matt was like, of course I did, Matt said bitterly, with Gabriel standing right there and her gazing at him like a lovesick lapdog. I said, I may be a simple village man who just climbed over your wall half an hour past, but I already happen to know your trusted advisor there, the one you seem to be in love with, intends to murder your daughter. Like, yeah, of course he would say that, right? So, yeah, of course Matt didn't say anything, because obviously the queen wouldn't trust him. But, yeah, he decides that he's also going to Tear. And, well, like I think I said before, Egwene can enter the dream world. And she did enter the dream world, and she saw that the women from the Black Aja are already at Tear, waiting for them. And then they found a woman's house, like a wisdom's house. And so they stayed there for a while. But then they were attacked and found by the women from the Black Aja, and then they were taken. And after Matt and Tom get to Tear, Tom gets sick, so Matt finds out about a wisdom, and he takes Tom there to get, like, some medicine. And that woman, that wisdom, is the same one that gave shelter to the girls. So she tells Matt about them, and so he's going to try to rescue them. At the same time, the others, like Perrin, Lan, Moiraine, and Zareen, and Loyal, are trying to get to Tear as well. But there was a trap at Moiraine's room, but Zareen was the first one to enter, so Zareen was actually the one who was attacked, and she was kind of knocked out, and, like, she looked like she was dead, but Moiraine said that she was stuck in the dream worlds, and, like, she was kind of lost there, but if she stayed there for too long, she would actually die. And so Perrin decides that he's going to go into the dream world, and so he does that, and he meets up with his wolf friend, and they go searching for Zareen. So, finally, Rand appeared, and he is at Tear as well, in that hole where the sword is, and there is a fight, and he finds Calendar, and he holds Calendar, which, you know, is the prophecy, so he really is the Dragon Reborn. And after he holds Calendar, he finds... he doesn't find, like, a man appears, and that's apparently the Dark One. And it says here, Rand reached out through Calendar and twisted reality to make a door to somewhere else, which I didn't know was something that could happen, but apparently it can happen. He didn't know to where, except that it was where Balzaman had gone, and Balzaman is like the Dark One. I am the hunter now, he said, and stepped through. So, yeah, he followed the Dark One to whatever it was, and they had a fight, and Rand thinks that he killed the Dark One, but he always thinks that in literally every single book, and it never happens, and later Moiraine tells him that, no, you idiot, he obviously did not kill the Dark One, so he did not kill the Dark One. And at the end, they are talking that every time they fight, one of the seals from the Dark One's prison is found, and she says, 3 of the seals are broken, only 4 still hold. Only those 4 seals stand between the Dark One and the world, which, you know, fun, he's basically almost free. Yeah, oh, and the Forsaken, which were also supposed to be locked up with the Dark One, some of them are free and roaming the world, so, again, fun. And finally, they find a letter, which Moiraine reads, and it says, Lewis Therin was mine, and Lewis Therin was like the previous dragon. And anyway, Lewis Therin was mine, he is mine, and he will be mine forever. I give him into your charge to keep for me until I come. And it was signed Lanfear. So, Lanfear strikes again. And I still don't know if she is Celine, like if they are the same person or not, but I don't like either of them, so I guess it would make sense. Anyway, that was an eventful book. I feel like it was very action packed from beginning to end, which I didn't think book one was. Book two was eventful, but not on this level. But yeah, this was crazy. I love it. And yeah, I guess I'll talk to you again with my final thoughts. Okay, so first of all, let's just address the most obvious thing here, which is this book is called The Dragon Reborn, and The Dragon Reborn was barely on it. We saw Rand throughout the entire book in only like 3 or 4 scenes, and then we saw him at the end when he went to grab Kalandor, and that was literally it. And although I did really like what I saw about the other characters, I really liked following their journeys, I would have liked to see what Rand went through to get to Tear, because if everyone else went through so much trouble to get to that goddamn city, I imagine that Rand did too. And I mean, it's not that I love Rand like that much, but I would definitely love to have seen what he went through. And again, because I don't love him that much, I feel like if I had seen him more, if I had seen what he went through, his struggles, I would have connected to him a lot more. And I feel like, he's the main character, he's the Dragon Reborn. We are supposed to like him, to care about him, to care about what happens to him. And, in order to care about a character, you need to read about them. And yeah, I definitely wanted to have more of Rand in this book. Okay, so moving on to the people we actually followed in this book. I really love Perrin. I love the whole wolf thing. I loved seeing like him in the dream world with his wolf friend, and I like to see him struggle. Like, that sounds really bad, but like I like to see him struggle with his wolf part, and like he's afraid that he will be like the other guy who just lost his humanity and he will be just a wolf, and he obviously doesn't want that. And this is the kind of thing I would have loved to see with Rand. Like, I would like to see him struggle so I could connect and care about him. And yeah, I definitely really care about Perrin. I really, really like following him, and yeah, I really like his personality, and yeah, I just hope we continue to see a lot of Perrin, and this wasn't the only book in which he has a lot of chapters. And another person we followed was Matt, and I know that a lot of people really love Matt, and I don't dislike him, but I also don't love him that much, at least yet. But yeah, he has definitely grown on me when he was like rescuing the girls. Also, he's really funny. I feel like he is the funniest character. And yeah, Matt is definitely growing on me, but also definitely not my favorite yet. And talking about the girls, so I like them, like in the other books, but in this book, Egwene and Nynaeve just annoyed me so damn much. They were always fighting, always bickering. Even Elaine was like, can you just stop? Because literally it was non-stop, and I was just, it was very annoying. And I just don't understand, because they were supposed to be like friends. They were supposed to love each other, to care about each other, and all they do is fight and bicker. And it's a little too much. But having said that, I did like to follow them, and I did like experiencing the I said I thing and the way they use their power, and yeah, I liked that. I just didn't like them. Also, talking about fighting, and characters, like, I still don't understand why everyone hates Moiraine so much. Like, the ones who are journeying with her were like more okay, I guess, but the hate Nynaeve has towards Moiraine is just like irrational. I feel like, because she just hates her so much for like no actual good reason. And also Matt always saying that it was Moiraine's fault. Like, it wasn't Moiraine's fault. they are all like important to the weave of time, the wheel, whatever. So yeah, that was not Maureen's choice, and she's just literally trying to help you. So can you stop whining about it? And yeah, that still annoys me. It's a theme that's been happening in all three books I've read so far, and you know, I'm waiting for the moment in which they will realize, you know what, Maureen is not that bad. She's actually just trying to help us. Can we stop hating her for a second? Yeah, I would love that. So also another reoccurring theme that has happened in all three books is that at the end there's a confrontation between Rand and the Dark One, and Rand always thinks that he kills the Dark One, and then you find out that he obviously hasn't, because, I mean, the Dark One is obviously not that easy to kill, and that happens every single time, and I'm just, you know, it could like stop happening for a second as well, like, you know, yeah, just a little repetitive. But having said that, I really like this book, and I feel like from beginning to end there was always a lot happening, and I know that pacing really is like, different people prefer different pacings, but I do prefer books where there's always a lot of action happening, and I feel like this book really did have a lot of action, and there was really no section in which I was bored or like waiting for something else to happen. And yeah, I really enjoyed it, and I really enjoyed the plot itself. And I mean, I've known these characters like for 3 books now, so I mean, I'm definitely invested in their story. And like I said before, I really love to follow Perrin. I hope we get to continue to follow Perrin. And yeah, also I hope we get to see more of Rand, because although he, like, I don't love him as much as Perrin now, he is the main character, you know, he is a Dragon Reborn, he is the one this is all about. So yeah, I want to see more of him, I want to see what happens, what he does. So yeah, I really enjoyed this book, and I'm going to give it 4 stars. Alright, so this is everything for this week's reading vlog, and I really hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, give a like and subscribe, and I will talk to you next time. Bye!